And then, here's what we're going to do in building this truth wall. And we'll finish up with this. And the reason why I call it a truth wall is because it's going to do two things for you. Number one, it's going to be a wall of perspective. So when difficult things are going on inside of your life, you will be able to look at the struggle, at the difficulty, through the lens of truth, capital T, and it will allow you to embrace it for how it's going to form you and shape you, as opposed to looking at that difficulty through the lens of circumstantial, small t, and going, crap, it's happening again. It always happens to me. Why is it always me? My car breaks down. Ah, the gods are against me. What is it? How come I can't get beyond this? Blah, blah. You know, for me, car would break down. What that said to me was, Clay, you're a loser. That's what I heard. It wasn't just, no, I ran over a nail. It was, Clay, you're a loser. You're never going to become the person that you want to become. So you can imagine how angry I would get when I would have a flat tire. Ah! And my wife would try to talk to me. I'd, ah! And I'd scream at her because in my voice I'm hearing, Clay, you're a loser. That's something. When I first started my company, it was like my wife would say, so, how'd the phone calls go today? I didn't hear, how did the phone calls go today? I heard from her, hey, loser, are you still failing and not able to do anything? Again, what the heck? These were just belief systems that I'd been carrying around with me for a long time. Does that make sense? And again, you probably have had that happen before, where somebody has asked you a question or somebody has said something to you and you have just zing! And they're going, whoa, what did I just do? They've tapped into a belief system for you that has caused you to go negative. And they didn't even know it. Or maybe they did, I don't know. Okay? So first of all, the truth is going to be a perspective for you to allow you to keep moving up the mountain. It's all about perspective. And then also, this truth wall will be a wall of protection. Protection. It will be a wall that you're going to be able to get behind when these negative thoughts start coming at you. You're going to go, nope, that's not true, and I'm not going to listen to it because that is not true. It's something I've carried around for a long time, but I've learned, hey, that's not true. So I hide behind the wall of truth. Other times I get up on top of the wall of truth and I look at my life on top of truth, and it gives me a perspective. Fair enough? Okay, so here's how we build the wall. Number one, we identify truth, capital T. Again, this is not circumstantial truth. It's not circumstantial truth. I have weak bones. Okay, that might be circumstantial, but it's not the ultimate truth about you. It's not how we want to define our life. Fair enough? We have a common experience of a divorce. I'm a divorcee. Is that true? Yeah, it's true. It's not like I'm going to walk around and say, no, it's not true. It is true, but it's circumstantial truth. It's smaller case T. It's not the capital T of who I am and what I've been designed to do. Fair enough? So number one, we're going to identify. How we build this thing. Number one, we have to identify, and that's where I am challenging you over this next week to begin to identify truth. And next week, your homework assignment is to come back and tell me some things that are true about you. Okay? Some people go to themselves. Some people go to the Bible. Some people go to their parents. Some people go to society. Okay? A lot of people will go to Facebook right now to find truth. Again, it's not that all of these are the best places to go, you know, but we need to identify where we go for truth and then begin to identify what is true about us. I would say for your homework, rather than trying to identify 50,000 things that are true about you, let's stay specifically focused with the truth that contradicts that lie, that circumstantial voice that you're hearing. You are not this enough, or you will always be this. Try to stay specifically focused on that. For me personally, let's take that, Clay, you're a loser. That was a voice that I heard. Contrast that with, Clay, for me, Clay, you have been fearfully and wonderfully made. There is a very specific purpose, plan, and promise for you. You have everything you need to have great impact here on earth. Those are 3 truths that I had for me. Okay? And so when I began to hear all of this stuff, it's like, nope, that's a bunch of crap. This is what is true. And I had to begin to use that for perspective and stand on that for protection. Or else I would never have been able to get through those days of starting up my company and all the pressure that it brought. Fair enough? So we identify it. Number 2, once we identify it, we want to write it down. Got to get it out of your head, get it out on a piece of paper so you can see it. You've got to be able to see it. Okay? Which is? Yeah. Third step that we're going to do, I'm over on page 19 now. We write it down. The next thing, and this is where it gets weird. This is where people start going, oh, yeah, Clay, I knew you were a freak. You know, up until now, everybody's going, okay, we can fit it in our brain, it all makes sense, yeah, this all looks really good. And then I get to step number 3. And this is where things get difficult. But you got to do it. I don't know how it works, but it works. You got to speak it. Every single day. You have got to speak it. So, when I came back from that money mindset workshop, they'd given us 15 phrases on the wealth mindset. For 6 months, every single morning, I'm out in my back porch speaking these phrases. At the very beginning, I'm a money manager. Money is constantly coming my way. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a money magnet. Sounded like that because my old mindset was still, you're a loser. But my new mindset was, no, this is truth, and I need to speak it. But at the beginning, what's coming out of your mouth is going to feel contradictory to what's actually going on inside of your head. And if you're like Julie, you will shut down and stop saying it because you go, well, I'm just a hypocrite. I'm just wishful thinking. It doesn't make sense. I don't have that emotional connection, so I'm just going to shut down. No, I'm just joking, of course. You got to keep doing it. Over time, those phrases became a little bit more. I began to say them with a little bit more conviction. I began to say them a little bit clearer. I wasn't mumbling. And over that 4, 5, and 6 months, I was actually pacing back and forth on my porch, saying things and pointing. This is what's going on. This is who I am. This is what's in my future. Almost to the point that neighbors, making phone calls. Clay, you doing okay over there? But I'm over there and I am up talking, but it didn't start that way. It started with me saying things out of my mouth that my brain was just going, you look so foolish. Because the capital T truth was coming in direct conflict with my belief system that I'm trying to break down, trying to get rid of that old belief system that's keeping me from moving forward. Am I doing okay? Does that make sense? So we've got to begin to speak it. Because as you begin to speak it on a consistent basis in your personal time, then when you begin to walk through your day and something negative comes out of your mouth, you'll catch it. Because you will begin to wire your brain to positively speaking the truth. And when all of a sudden your tongue allows something to go out that doesn't meet the positive truth, you'll recognize it. You might not stop it at the beginning, but you'll recognize it. There I go, I'm saying it. That's what, man, I didn't realize how much I'm saying this crap all day long. I'm talking to my friends going, yeah, well, I'm stupid. It just comes out of our mouth. Yeah, well, that'll never happen for me. Yeah, well, I'm no good. Yeah, well, I'm this. I'm afraid of losing. It just comes out of our mouth all the time. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. It's an old saying. Does that make sense? So what we're doing is we have to begin to speak it. And this is when people begin to drop off. Clay, I'm fine with discovering. It's really nice and writing it down, but this is weird. So I don't want to go there. Someone might hear me. You got And then step 4. This is weird. Okay?
This is weird.
Okay? This is actually D. Sorry about that. All of a sudden it's Animal House. Sorry. Step D. If speaking it's weird, this is even more. We have to visualize. We have to begin to see pictures in our brain. You guys, this right here, speaking it, is how you unravel the old thinking. But to just unravel the old thinking won't be enough. You got to think something, right? And if you don't plug in new thinking, by default, I promise, you will go back to old thinking. So it's not good enough to go, that's a bad way of thinking, bad thinking, bad thinking. You've got to replace it with the new. How do we replace it with the new? You visualize it. This is actually, Ashley, what allows you to rewire your brain. You visualize that truth happening for you. You visualize yourself in that place. Well, Clay, that's really hard, because I've got this belief system that's keeping me from visualizing. This, a lot of times, is where you need somebody to help you visualize. And we'll do that next week. Okay? We'll do that. I'll go through a little visualization, and Tara will be over here going, okay, this was really weird. I don't know what's going on. There won't be candles, won't be incense, I won't be in a robe. Okay? Let's do it right here. And we'll visualize some of this truth, because we have to learn how to do this. Because it's the visualization that will actually begin to renew your thinking. New thoughts will lead to new feelings, which will lead to new belief systems that will give you the power that you need to make the decisions that lead to actions, that lead to new results. It's amazing how this thing actually works. But that's what I call the truth wall. So, over this week, your homework is to begin to build your truth wall. What the heck does that look like? Some people that I've done this with, their mirror in their bathroom has become their truth wall. Lipstick on a mirror, or a dry erase marker on a mirror, because they're going to see it every single day, and they say it while they're getting ready. And they're visualizing their day in respect to that truth. Other people put it on Post-it notes and put it on around their desk at work, okay, because they're in a place where they can do that. I've had other people put it on Post-it notes on the back of a closet door, so they can close the closet and it's a little bit more private. Okay? Some people, one lady, her entire wall in her living room became her truth wall. I mean, she just had words and sayings and pictures all over the place. It was out there for everybody to see. But when she would get up in the morning, she'd be looking at the wall. That might not be you. Other people that have been very creative that I've done this with have, done all kinds of graphic design and all that kind of stuff. One guy turned his entire basement, all 4 walls, into his truth wall. Okay? Another guy that I worked with struggled for 6 months designing his truth wall, simply because he couldn't make a decision. Should I do sticky notes? Should I do it on a poster board? 6 months. I mean, imagine the belief system that he had in place. That he couldn't even shut him down, because do I do yellow Post-it notes or blue Post-it notes? Do I do it at work or do it at home? I mean, on the phone, I was just going, I don't care, just do it! Because he just couldn't hold on to the truth. He was that far from it. Does that make sense? So this is your homework, to begin to develop your truth wall. Clay, how do I do the truth wall? Number 1, we have to discover it. We have to identify. So I'm asking you to go to your source of truth and begin to identify what that truth is for you. What is this ultimate truth for you? Again, if you want to kind of narrow the thing down, what is the truth, the specific truth that contradicts the negative tape? That can kind of help you from just going all over the place. Fair enough? Then we're going to write it down, however you want to write it down. We're going to begin speaking it. We're going to begin visualizing it next week. I'm going to teach you guys how to do visualization. Okay? Thoughts? Comments? What have you heard?
A lot.
Is it hard to process all of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Get it? Makes sense? But we all have, from our first session, we all have a time in our schedule out there ahead of us where we are going to process all of this stuff. Can't do it right now because Clay, I really need to get to the phones, so I'm not really, okay, I get it. But there is a time where we're going to process it. And at that point, feel free, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. Clay, I'm now in this time, I'm trying to figure it out, and I don't know where to go for truth. I've always gone to this place, but it has not been the best place for me to go. Give me some ideas. We can talk about that. Go to Dr. Tate if you want as well. Or your mentor, if you have a mentor in your Yoda. Okay? Ta-da. Proud of you guys. I was telling Dr. Tate, I feel like as words are coming out of my mouth, they are finding a place to rest with you guys, which is cool. That energizes me. There are times where I'm talking to a group of folks and it's like they get right about here and they just hit a wall and fall on the ground. It's kind of hard. Okay? So, last word to Dr. Tate. What do you got?
I've got something that's just burning on my heart during all this. I know Clay's got to go, so I'm not going to steal his podium time too long. But, if you guys are feeling stuck here, I know I have. Angels and demons are real. God is real. Jesus is real. If you guys are feeling stuck here, there's somebody that's trying to keep you stuck here. And that capital T, that truth, Jesus said, I'm the way, I'm the truth, I'm the life. There's no way to heaven except through him. If you guys, if that doesn't make sense, if you don't have that in your heart, I want to talk to you guys about that. If you don't feel comfortable with me, I know Clay's heart, he would talk to you about that. And so, I don't want you guys feeling right here. I want you to know that the Bible is true. The New Testament's a great place to start. The book of Matthew, the book of James are both very good, easy reads that will lay everything down and give you guys a truth to go to. And so that's just been burning on my heart today to share with you guys.